We welcome him coming on. It's Charlie, Adam. Charlie, thank you very much for coming in.
Nice to be here.
Seeing Vincent Kompany up close, what did you make of when he got the move to Bayern?
I wasn't surprised.
And he said, get over it, get your ass out of that chair and get up and find your next job.
I think Trent will leave in the summer. You know, he's won everything. He has to make a decision for his footballing career, what he thinks is best coming at half time. And I'd never seen any manager like it. Ripped the tactics board down, went through me like God knows what.
So give us the first attribute that comes to your mind.
Quick fire this.
Ian Holloway.
Madman.
Happy New Year! Welcome to another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football. I think it's way too late to say that now, but it's our first episode back, Sam. So Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you. You don't want to do that. That's Morecambe and Wise, because all their memorabilia is going up for auction, like you mean. So people who don't remember Morecambe and Wise.
Did you like them?
Oh.
My dad did.
Listen, we used to stay in on a Saturday just to watch Morecambe. Anyway, that digresses. But welcome everybody, and we want more subscribers if we can for the new year. If you like our podcast, please subscribe. And of course, we look forward to obviously entertaining you. We have a very, very interesting guest today. So followers and subscribers, here we go. Hope you enjoy it as much as you have.
We're only a couple of hundred off 40,000 on YouTube now, and we would love to get there. Like Sam says, we'd love to start the new year with a load of new followers. We are cracking on into the season, and we'd love to keep getting wonderful guests. So if you don't subscribe already, please do subscribe. And with that, shall we introduce our wonderful guest today?
Yes, our wonderful guest today for bringing the new year in. His career has been through many, many clubs, and his ultimate 11 is very, very interesting when you listen to that. And I think that he's moved into management and like many young managers for the first time has faced the worst you can ever face, which is he got the phone call to say he'd lost his job. But we welcome him coming on and listening to what he's got to say with his experience over many, many years, many managers. It's Charlie, Adam. Charlie, thank you very much for coming in.
Nice to be here.
Charlie, you might not know about it, but we have an unbelievable record of people coming on the show and getting jobs, by the way. So we'll get into that. We'll find out where you are.
Just to let you know, I do watch. So
all right.
It's something I have watched.
Is that why you've come on?
I've seen a lot of people on here, and I know the record is very good. So hopefully 2025 is a good omen for us.
That's why you called and said, get me on.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be the first person for 2025 on that show.
Yeah. Do you know, if you're out there, if you want to come on, give us a ring, get in contact with us.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome, if you want to come and have a chat with us.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely, yeah.
Has to be football related, obviously.
Yes,
so
football related, yes. I've lost count now, to be honest, but I feel like Gary Rowett got a job recently, didn't he?
It's Oxford,
so that's another one. Yeah. I've lost count, Sam, so we need to go back and
he said he wasn't going back. He's nearly as bad as me, Gary, like I mean, because
he was happy in the telly, Gary. I seen him.
Have you seen his podcast as well?
Yeah, I listened to that. Yeah, it's good.
Well.
With Dave, I know. I worked with him at Stoke for a period of time when I was playing, and Gary obviously come into Stoke, and then I seen him on the telly every week in the EFL, and I'm thinking he might not want to get back in here, but listen, I think Oxford did a good job for him to get into.
Yeah, so we need to have a recount up now. We'll start the year. But we always like to start as well by finding out where your paths crossed. Now, we don't know. We did some research. We don't know if you both know when your paths crossed, but you played in a game. You were the manager for the opposition on the 17th of March 2018. Can either of you remember it?
Yeah, because I think if it's the right one, it's Blackpool away. Is it?
No. No. But what else do you remember?
Well, Blackpool away, when I was at Blackburn, was our focus on Charlie Adam, the key player for Blackpool, Bloomfield Road.
Well, I've heard this story, and I just hopefully Sam's going to talk about the same story.
I had a young lad called Phil Jones.
There you go.
Who was probably one of the best youngsters I'd ever worked with at 18, and his job was, which was a bit against the grain for a youngster, saying, "You mark Charlie Adam."
It's one of my claim to fame, that.
I do not.
Very nice.
I do not want you getting involved too much in the play, which is a big problem for any other player. An experienced players probably tell me to bugger off.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what you want me to just stay with him all game and not play? Like, I mean, what is a game of football? But we saw Charlie as the key element to Blackpool's particularly attacking play with his quality of passing. Phil Jones I had to say he did a fantastic job. I don't know whether you remember, but we won the game as well. So
Good manager.
It was that's my.
Okay. Well, that's a much nicer recognition of what I feel like that's probably 10 years earlier to the game that I'm thinking about.
No, but I actually heard that story as well. That Sam had actually asked Phil Jones to man-mark me before he got that big move to Manchester United. So that was one of them. But I think the game you're talking about is it was snowing at Stoke and he was Everton manager.
Yes.
Oh yes, I remember that.
I get sent off?
You got straight red, mate.
Yeah. Thank you very much
for Wayne Rooney.
It was on Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney.
Listen, I remember that now because I was
terrible.
I was on the touchline with snow stuck all over me, and the front it was coming. You know what Stoke's like? Got wheels in through the open gaps in the stand. There was snow stuck to, and luckily for us. Mr. Fayyad booked a private jet for us the day after to go to Dubai. So
one of your legendary Dubai trips.
Another great trip. Like you mean. We all met at the Liverpool airport. He'd got us a private jet, and the squad went off after a win on Saturday in the freezing cold, rain, snow, and we had a few days in Dubai.
There you. Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks for that. You got a win bonus, I never.
Yeah,
but no, I remember it.
It was a bit last minute, I think, our goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was late. Yeah. I remember the sending off. Yeah, it was wasn't a great tackle, but no, that's how we paths crossed. But I'm not too sure if Sam was manager when we drew 2-2 at Ewood Park for Blackpool as well when I scored 2 goals. I don't know if you remember that one.
He's getting that one in there, Sam. He's getting that one in.
I can't remember that.
Paul Robinson was in goals. Free kick, I scored in the top corner.
And
I scored a penalty as well.
What year was that?
That would have been 2000. That would have been when Blackpool were in the Premier League. So was it 2010 possibly? I think it was 2-2. It was.
No, I got bulleted in 2009. Sadly, by the Venkies.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
You know, so
somebody else in there, but
you scored
good
2.
memories, yeah.
So yes. So you left Fleetwood recently, as Sam said, just in December. Your first job in management. How do you look back on it?
Great experience. I loved it. It was something I always wanted to go into it. I had 18 months at Burnley as sort of under-21s coach, loans manager, under Vincent Kompany and the staff there. But when the opportunity came, the good thing for me is I knew Fleetwood as a club because I lived in the area. I knew the owners well, so I sort of knew what was going on. It was tough off the pitch for the club, with what had happened. But when we come in, we were 12 points behind in League One, relegation, and we ended up cutting it down to I think 2 points at the end of the season. So we'd won 3 at the last 4. We were 1-0 up at Peterborough. We missed 2 penalties to win the game, and if we'd done that, we would have stayed up. In hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, but it was a brilliant experience for the year I was there. I learned a lot, and ready to come back and see what's next. Really.
So you would get straight.
Yeah, no, I want to get back in. I want to. Depends on what that looks at the moment. You know what I don't know. It might be a first team coach. It might be something else, but management is something I'm keen on. Always something I've always been into. Speaking to different managers, different people a lot. I think that's what key is, that you have to speak to the people, and I'm fascinated with people like Sam, David Moyes, Tony Pulis, Ian Holloway, one of my former managers.
Ian.
The more
we've had all of them on this podcast, by the way.
The thing, for the experience, the longevity of being in the game. I think that for me as a young coach, how do I stay in the game for as long as Sam, as David, as Tony? These are the type of people that you have to look up to and think, how do we get there? How do we become the best version of yourself? And again, the phone is there. I'm not afraid to pick the phone up. These people that have been there, they're willing to help you. So you've got to use it, and that's something that I'm trying to do in the next few while, is getting coffees with people, speaking to the right people, and taking valuable experiences from the experienced managers.
Yeah. Just to add to context, it's congratulations to Ian Holloway, because he's joined the 1,000
Has he?
games as a manager.
Phil Parkinson as well.
Phil Parkinson as well. Wow. So
yeah, amazing.
You know, we haven't had Phil on here, but like we've obviously had Ian a couple of times.
He doesn't want it. He's talking about the global superstar now, Phil at Wrexham. He'll not want to be coming here.
Phil, But he's got Steve Parkin with him as well, isn't he still? I think.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah,
Parky,
But
I know Parky for
1,000 games, like
Unbelievable.
it's incredible. How many did you get, Sam?
It's about 1,100, something like that.
Just the 1,100. Wow. Yeah. And maybe there'll be more.
There was a while when I wasn't working, and then the LMA said you're this far off 1,000 games, like you mean, and I thought, what? And they hadn't calculated Ireland, so I said, well, I went to Ireland, like you mean, well, that don't count. I thought that's rather strange.
If Ronaldo's counting goals in Saudi Arabia, we're counting Ireland.
But Ollie was the same. I remember I think he was at 987 before he went into Swindon, and he was saying that's one of my key goals was to get to 1,000 games as a manager, and that's why everything kept coming. But I was talking to him, and he was like surprised to get back in, and he was enjoying what he was doing. But the opportunity to come back in, it never leaves you. Once you get that bug and you get that, it never leaves you. And the opportunity to go back in for him was incredible. But to get to 1,000 games it's amazing.
Just getting another job is his priority, and hopefully.
Well, this podcast seems to help.
Well, it does. Hopefully, we can help you some way. But I mean, you can't pick and choose. But when you talk about the reality about Fleetwood staying in League One, is always been a really tough task. There's not that it's the club's fault, it's just the fact that geographically the finances can't be big enough to take you too far.
Yeah,
it becomes a challenge staying in that league.
What I do have to say is the Pilley family invest a lot of money on a personal level into the football club. The numbers are big.
Well, it wouldn't exist without them, would it?
No, what they've built, like the training ground's incredible. The facilities, the way they travel, they did everything right. And unfortunately, what happened is, like I talk about it, the budget got changed. You sell some of your best players. Sold. While I was there in the year, I think I sold over £1 million worth of players. Chopped the budget over £1 million from League One to League Two. So that takes its toll, and injuries to key players.
You end up getting the sack.
And injuries to key players, ultimately, it costs you. But would I change it? Absolutely not. I learned a lot within that year, and again, it's not about having just a year's experience, about how do you have a 20-year career as a manager. So it's a learning curve for me now to then take on to the future, and that's what I'm doing while I'm at work, is speaking to people that can help me and improve me as a person, but also as a manager, which is key for me.
Seeing Vincent Kompany up close at Burnley, how good was he, and what did you make of when he got the move to Bayern?
I wasn't surprised. A lot of people will be.
On Bayern?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised, only because of his work, Sam, in terms of day-to-day, how he built the football club, how he seen the game, the tactical detail of what he was giving the players, for me was the top level, and that's how his work ethic was incredible. So I see that, and I thought people will say that in the results. I totally understand that when you go to the Premier League, it's a different animal going to the Premier League, and you maybe have to adapt, and you have to maybe consolidate a little bit for a longer. Some managers have gone into the Premier League this year and gone, this is my way, this is the way I'm going to do it, and if I get the sack, I've done it my way. Yeah, that's fine. That's it. Everybody's totally different.
You have to do it your way. There's no doubt about that. Yeah,
but there is a sensibility of what you're actually doing. Is it giving you more pressure? Is it giving players in that team more pressure in terms of vulnerable to make mistakes? Then you have to try and find that solution. But I was not surprised when Bayern Munich, because I knew, seeing how he worked and how his like you say, the tactical detail that he was giving the Burnley lads, for me, was what the top managers were given, what the Premier League managers were given straight away, and I was like, this guy is very, very good. So no, I'm not surprised he's gone to Bayern. It's ultimately a surprise for everybody else to go to Burnley to Bayern Munich, because it's a big club in Germany and obviously around the world. But no, this he's a top operator, and I think eventually he'll be back in the Premier League.
So when you were there, you were
so I was under 21's coach.
And under 20, yeah.
Yeah. So when I first went in, so I'd obviously retired, and I always wanted to get into coaching. I always wanted to become manager or coach, and the opportunity. I knew the sort of club secretary at the time, Matt Williams, who was at Blackpool when I was there, and I asked him, I said, listen, is there any opportunity to come in and coach? And he said, what happened is Mike Jackson had gone up to the first team, and there was a vacancy in the under-21s to help the under-21s coach. So I went in there 3 months for free just to help, to get my experience, to just get in the football club, to help to get to understand what coaching was all about. And Burnley were brilliant with me.
Well, you were brilliant with them because you offered your services for,
so I went in there,
nothing, you know what I mean? Which is, shows you, your commitment and your dedication, like I mean.
So I went in there for 3 months, unpaid. Then they made a role for me in terms of a loans manager. So at that time, we had a lot of younger loans in terms of the academy and that. So I was just going to the games on Saturday, watching, reporting to other managers, having a bit of a document, going back, reporting to the academy manager.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like I'm quite a forward-thinking person. All of a sudden, I was watching the first team. I'd ask questions. I was intrigued to what Vinny was doing and Bellas were doing.
Yeah.
Then the opportunity come, you get to watch the training. Then I'd be asking them questions, and all of a sudden, then I was in the meetings, and then that was mind-boggling for me. I was like, "Wow, this is how I see the football. This is what." So then I was just writing things down, taking notes, just gaining experiences. So basically, forcing my way in a little bit.
Good for you.
But learning at the same time.
Yeah.
But learning at the same time. So what happened then?
The door was ajar, and he went through like.
Yeah. So then what happened was I was coaching, but my main role was the loans. So then the first team had loans. So all of a sudden then, the first team had loans, so then I was in charge of the first team players that were going out. So we had players.
So how many players were you looking at?
So I was looking after about 10 or 12 players. So I was talking to the managers, going to watch the lads. So saying, for example, Luke McNally was on loan at Stoke. So I would go to watch Stoke on a Saturday. I'd come back. Then I'd say to Vinny, I went to watch Luke at the weekend. This is my thoughts. This is what you're thinking. The coaches would be speaking to him as well. And just getting that relationship and going. So then eventually when I got the full-time opportunity to go in and coach, I was still going to games on a Saturday, which I do anyway. Normally, that was what I always done anyway. If I just going to watch different games, and then I was talking to Vinny, got a full-time job. So then, what Vinny used to do was allow you to go up for a week. So you'd forget your job for a week, and you just go with the first team every day.
Yeah.
So you were in all the meetings in the morning, but then I become a little bit of a go between the first team and the 21s in terms of if they needed players to go and train with the first team. They'd always come report to me and say, can you get us 4 players for the first team, blah, blah. So then...
To train with them that week. And
train with them that day.
That's like a great job, by the way.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden I was saying to the management, do you need any players today? Yeah, okay, no problem. So then I would go in the meetings in the morning. I'd understand what they were doing. So I was just writing notes all the time, what the first team were doing. I was trying to get into the analyst to give me some of the sessions that I could watch back and seeing what they were doing. But ultimately it was coming to, if you were in the meetings, that's where the detail was, and that was important to me as a first-team coach. Wanting to be a manager and a coach, I was thinking that was different. That's why they blew the championship away. There was nobody that could come close to them, and it was different from what everybody was saying. So that 18 months, 2 years, just learned a lot and took at it, and take small snippets from it. And again, that year that I've had as a coach, take things that I think I did well, look at myself, self-reflect, think, okay, how can I improve, and see what next comes.
Really does sound like a brilliant job. I love that. Of course, the coaching setup inside clubs has changed a lot, Sam, which is
huge. Yeah.
We talk about a lot on here. You've got, your set piece coaches, which are becoming alarmingly famous at some clubs. Striking coaches, defending, like different. There's not just first team coaches anymore, Sam. You mentioned, funny enough, Wayne Rooney before when we were talking about the red card. Obviously, he's left Plymouth since we've last been on, Sam. He's left Plymouth. People are suggesting he'd be better as a striking coach than perhaps a manager, a head coach. Where do you sit on that? What do you think?
From Wayne's point of view, number one jobs for him. It hasn't worked as well as he probably would have liked for whatever reason, but obviously he needs to reflect on that himself. So if he gets another opportunity, if he does get another opportunity, then he needs to be successful. Because obviously the last few opportunities haven't quite been as successful as he would have liked to know.
I thought his last one was
really as a man, his love for the game, his dedication, what he's achieved. There's something he hasn't quite picked up on in the experience he's had before to make sure this worked better. There's obviously challenges at the clubs he's chosen. People might have said, why did he choose those clubs? Because they weren't, Birmingham, Derby, Derby particularly in crisis, but he had a right go at it. You know, Plymouth, you know, budgeting again like Fleetwood's is not huge. You know, I don't know what the budget is, but I think that whether he wants that role or not is entirely up to him. Whether somebody striking coach, is there enough for you to do? Is there enough for you to do to be striking coach? Because I've had a striking coach, and I thought, yes, another voice is very good. But I wouldn't say they were full time.
Right.
You know, I'd say that as a part-time striking coach is probably enough, because there's so much other things you need to do. You know, and I think having a striking coach is one good thing, is stop everybody else joining in. Because when you have sometimes when you put finishing on,
yeah,
your centre half goes in, your full backs go in, they all want to go in, and you go, piss off, like you mean. This is the front line, the people who we want to practice in finishing. We want everybody to score goals, but they are employed to score goals.
Yeah,
so a striking coach has to, if you do get him, has to keep all them away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they have to focus on, you know, if and what you do. And I think instinct, I think practice is very, very important, like every position practice, in every sport practice. But it's the 5 Ps, isn't it? Perfect practice prevents poor performances. So if the practice is not good, then the practice doesn't work.
The practice has to have the quality. He would definitely. I don't see his strike. What I will say is that every job he's had, he's gave it his all. You know, to go to Plymouth, Wayne Rooney, to leave your family, to everything that goes on. He's a global superstar in his own right with England. What a work ethic that is. You know, being brought up well family-wise, and to go to Plymouth and by the way, Plymouth's a great club, you know, and my brother-in-law played there and say it's a brilliant club. I thought bringing Mick Phelan was a great appointment, and I thought that might help him a little bit with his experience in that, but fortunately he never got the time he did. But I think he'll want to come back in as a number one. Of course he does. He wants to work. He wants to you go again. You can only sit in the house so much. You can only have so many holidays, play golf. He wants to come back in, whatever way that is. It might be. He might not come in. It might be in media. But
well, there's a suggestion of that in there.
Yeah, but fair play to him for going.
He's going to be with the Sky are going to come up with some sort of package, whether it does or whether it doesn't. Like you mean, but
I imagine it's not the same, though, is it? It's not the same.
Oh, no.
It's not the same.
It depends on the
football.
I mean, he has the addiction.
Yeah.
Wayne's addicted to football.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I
mean, we're all addicted to football, but particularly like
you get the hunger for
his
it.
addiction. You know what I mean? He'll travel anywhere.
Maybe media will scratch it, but it's not gonna.
No,
it doesn't. It's like, you know. And I was at a game at the weekend, and Jamie Carragher was there, and I said, "It's one thing you always said you never go in." Yeah, I never had the bug for it.
Yeah.
If you've not got it, then why? But Wayne's got it. Frank's got it. Stephen's got it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking. That's the golden generation of England. Stephen's travelling. Saudis. You know, it's a little bit different, but Rangers, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
You know, Frank's had to go to Coventry. You know, because there's only 90.
He's lucky to get that job.
There's only 92. There's only 92 jobs. There's only 92 managers.
I mean,
so you have to, if you want to go, you have to travel to get. You have to get the job. So again, that's an opportunity. So, and we'll talk about it. It's, you know, Coventry. I think
it's a great opportunity.
It's a great opportunity. It's a great club. So Frank has to now show what he's at. So. It's tough. It is tough because there is only 92 jobs, and that gets shorter and shorter because of managers that are already in there. So fair play to Wayne. Unfortunately, it's not worked for him. And again, Sam, he'll look back and reflect and look and think, right, okay, what could I have done better? Because that's what you have to do. The manager
merry-go-round is in full swing again.
It's always the same year in, year out. This time of year, in fact, there's not been quite as many as other years.
Somebody was telling me they're on track. I think it was 1 and 2 managers were sacked last year. They're on track again for it this year.
Are they?
Yeah.
In the calendar. Oh my.
The calendar year.
That's nuts. Well, there might be more as
There's
well.
more on about West Ham losing.
Yeah.
Well, I presume we see all the same things. So we are filming this, by the way. It's Wednesday morning. Lopetegui is still manager of West Ham at this exact moment, but West Ham have cancelled his press conference.
That's right. I find that strange. And
Does that ring bells for you?
And Graham Potter's coming in.
What do you think of that?
Listen, David and the backroom staff would do their own tapping up, if that's the right word, but they never let the manager cancel a press conference or go into a press conference or cancel a press conference. They normally just get rid of you just before it, and then the next day the new manager would come in to do all that way in advance, like you mean, and then try and do a clean in and out pretty quickly. This is a bit messy.
Yeah.
If it is going to happen.
We're no naive as managers. We're no naive. If clubs are not forward thinking about who's the next manager, what's the next thing, if this goes wrong, we know what goes on. But how it's played out in the media, it's been tough. It has been tough, and unfortunately, Sam's been at West Ham. He knows how West Ham is. A brilliant football club with great supporters. They would not want it to work out the way it's worked out, but it's not worked the way they wanted it, and they made the decision last summer to get rid of David Moyes, and Lopetegui's come in now, so it looks like that might change again. So that's football, and it's a disappointment as a manager. It is disappointing to see another manager lose a job. Of course it is.
I always remember Ian Greaves, an old manager of mine, Ian, one of the best managers I had, and I lost my job at Blackpool, and he rang up and said, you won't feel so good the first day. You won't feel so good the second day. And he said, get over it and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get your ass out of that chair and get up and find your next job. He said, and reflect on it, but remember the lessons you learn. Put them down in your own diary, and then when you move on, if you think you've made any mistakes, don't make them again.
There's your pep talk.
No, and I'm the same. I'm very lucky that speak to a lot of experienced people, and some of the messages that I got from people in the game, coaches, managers, and that. And Sam's like, right. First day I was an emotional when it happened, because I didn't expect it, and I was pre-planning because I was trying to bring an experienced person in beside me, and I was actually meeting that person on the morning, and I got a call just as I got in the door to meet them. And I was all right, and I put a brave face. I was disappointed at the end of it. Second day, I was okay. The third day, that's when it hit me, because I wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the week, it's like, get on with it. What's next? When's the next game? I was looking, so I was like, that was on for the next game was Boxing Day, so I never went to a game on Boxing Day. 29th, I was like to my little.
You got sacked like 3 days before Christmas.
22nd, yeah, but it was a tough period for me in a family sense around that time anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Because of mum and dad and things, stuff like that. But that was as well at the same time.
Jesus, Charlie.
It was tough. But by the 29th, I was like, right, come on, little man, let's go. So we done Preston at 12:30. We went to Bolton in the afternoon, and we've been to Stoke. We've been to other games. Get out and, like you say, get on with it. What's the next challenge for you? What's the next chapter? And that's what you got to do. The biggest thing now is, like you say, is in the day, it's like, how do you fill your day? So it's just finding other ways. Going on the school run, that's the toughest bit. But it's now doing things like this, doing a bit of media, speaking to people. What's next? Looking back at what I could have done better. And I'm excited that it is what it is. It's an experience that I've had. I'll learn from it, and I'll become better for it.
Right, we've got some football things that are going on that I want to talk about.
Got to mention our podcast mate and you, Carl, and we at Salford, what he's achieved this Christmas period. And
well, I hear a rumour, Sam, that he might be coming on next week.
Yeah, he might
and
be,
I feel really anxious by that, because I feel like that means, because obviously on Saturday, City are playing Salford in the FA Cup third round. First time Salford have ever got to the third round. And I feel like he's been lined up because people think there might be a giant killing.
You won't be very happy, would you?
Can you imagine?
You'll probably go missing if you get that.
Oh, right. Oh,
I can't. It's a great, well, like we talked about, Dan, before, the finances that brings to Salford, because it's on the TV as well as.
It's on the BBC, and then it's going
to be a sellout,
sales.
and it has to be finished on the day.
Yep.
It's it's great. That's what the FA Cup's all about. The old,
it really is.
the opportunity to be and play.
But for Carl to have done what he's done, from where they were, which was in a relegation battle last year, to in third place, 6 wins on the bounce, no goals conceded.
His experience he's far. I've always talked about this. He's far in experience terms and what he's done as a manager. At the clubs he's been at.
But you have to look at
now he's doing it at Salford.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing for Carl is, and I've only met Carl a few times, is he's humble enough to say, do you know what? I might have to take a job in League Two to come back and reinvent myself a little bit because of what happened at Oxford. Went into Leeds with Sam. But you want to work. You want to get into football. So you might have to go back to League Two. And by the way, he's done a brilliant job at Salford, and the lads have put a lot of money in there, and they're getting a wee bit of reward now in terms of, they're close, they're near the top of the league. And it's the right time, the right place, and he's probably just the right manager that they need at that time. Yeah. And it's worked for them.
The football meant that they because there's Butty and Giggsy there,
I think Nicky Butt's left now, has he?
Has he left?
I feel like he's left in the last few weeks, or stepped down from his CEO position.
It must be just Ryan then. Yeah. Scholes, he pops in. When I went down,
I think he's doing the recruitment, isn't he, Paul? Paul's doing the recruitment.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's doing it. But again, watched them a couple of times. They're always there. There's always somebody there watching.
Yeah, Roy's there.
It doesn't leave you. But they've got a financial interest as well now, and you have to make it work.
Well, they got a university as well, which is a great achievement for them, isn't it? So
I think
Salford's
Gary's more of the business
university,
guy.
That actually would probably make some money to help them sustain the finance.
Yeah.
Because universities do make quite a bit of money these days, don't they?
It's a great university.
I don't know whether theirs does, but but the opportunity for education as well as football at a League Two club is desperate. It's credit to them, full marks,
And just for you, Charlie, Carl was on the podcast twice in between jobs. So, right. So, a big game coming up. Nottingham Forest continue to smash the Premier League this season. Smash it is a great word, isn't it?
Smash it.
Do you know, Sam, you're going to love this. They're matching Leicester's points return from the year that they won the title after 20 games. I love that. Next weekend, Forest play Liverpool. If they win, are Forest in the title race?
Did Forest not beat Liverpool at Liverpool?
They did. They beat them at Anfield.
Could do the double.
They could do the double. Are they in the title race if they beat Liverpool?
Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't it be awesome?
Fantastic.
It's only a defeat that Arne Slot's had, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the only defeat he's had.
And at Anfield.
At Anfield, yeah. You can never write it off, could you? That what Leicester did was incredible. I just think this Liverpool team has got a different mentality at the moment. They're ruthless. There's a lot of noise going around the club as well, but you just.
But the Man United game, there's chinks, isn't there?
Yeah, but you got to remember, you're playing Man United. I know Man United are having a tough time, but still one of the biggest clubs in the world with some of the best players.
They played well last week, though, didn't they? Forest is a big problem is now for the manager. He's keeping that mentality strong enough because they're going, it's great. And
nice up here.
That complacency, you watch that complacency, you've got to go and hammer them. Not say, well, you've done nicely. Go and hammer them and go and say, well, I bet you don't keep it up. I bet you're going to let yourself down. I bet you're not going to go out and do what you've done again. Because their players, they aren't.
Yeah.
You talk about staying at that level, the pressure of staying at that level. Yeah. I mean, he's played for Liverpool. The pressure of being a Liverpool player, It just, can they? Leicester sustained it that year, but you have to remember every top club failed in their. I'm not undermining what Leicester did because they won by 10 clear points, but all the top clubs underachieved that year, and it was right at Leicester at that point because it can't be a fluke when you've won it by 10 clear points.
Yep.
No, I think what Nuno's did. I've seen his interview. I've not looked at the table. Every time you get a result, you're looking at that table, and say, right, where are we going?
But how good's the recruitment been?
And that's
phenomenal.
And again, it's somebody that
they've got. The new owner has learned very, very quickly about what recruit. I mean, they bought that 22 players in, didn't they?
The big thing is,
Which was
is that
but they've learned from that, haven't they?
Marinakis is, a Greek guy, owns Panathinaikos. Is it Olympiakos? Sorry, owns Olympiakos. Yeah. He come in and they flooded it with loads of players under Steve Cooper and that. But then obviously, I know Ross Wilson, who's like sort of sporting director, who was at Rangers and that. He's done a brilliant job in being able to calm it down, and pick and choose what they're looking for. Okay, Marinakis might have the final say, but Ross is, I think, doing a very good job. He's always done a good job where he's been in Huddersfield. We started at Watford and that. So he's a guy that knows recruitment and does it well. So again, it just seems to be working. Nuno obviously is a top coach and has got the best out of the group of players that he's got. And when you've got somebody like Chris Hood who
great combination, that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, everybody has written him off.
I've always talked about.
Was he at Burnley when you were there?
Chris Wood had just left when I was there. He went to Newcastle. Right. But everybody had written off, no good, no blah, blah, blah. Come in, score goals. And again, he's having a purple patch, scoring again. You have seasons like that. And again, like you say, the British sort of type players, Morgan Gibbs-White, Alanga's done unbelievable.
Nobody's ever given him any credit.
No.
Chris Wood?
No, I think he's a very good player.
I mean, he got with under Sean, he got them into Europe for the first time with the goals he scored, at Burnley.
And he done a bit for Newcastle when Eddie
Howe
first went in, saved him.
And then everybody wrote him off, and then he goes to Forest, and now he's one of the leading goal scorers in the Premier League.
Is he something?
Yeah.
His quality of finishing and his way he sniffs out where to be, he's just having the time of his life, like
Good on him. Well, I hope they beat Liverpool. Sorry, Charlie. To make it a bit tastier up there. Talking about Liverpool, there's still no updates on Salah, Trent and Virgil. Obviously, it's, transfer window season. The kind of rumours are... what's your kind of feeling? Who do you think? Are they all staying? Will they all get new contracts? Is Trent going? What do you think?
I think they'll all get offered new contracts.
It's whether they're long enough.
Ooh, okay.
So again...
They'll have this 1 year thing in their head, I think.
Something at Liverpool. Yeah, I think they've been sort of key to that over the last few years. I think Mo Salah wants a 3-year deal, but if you look at Mo Salah, the shape that he's in, you would give it. Trent's a little bit different. Yeah. He's getting a bit of pressure, and ultimately for Trent, he never played well on Sunday, so that adds pressure to it. Salah's scoring goals, Van Dijk's playing well, so that's away from them a little bit. But for Trent, I seen what Cara said the other day, and I get it.
What did he say?
He was talking about Real Madrid coming in. Well, his agent would have known that Real Madrid were going to make a bid for him.
Everybody knows that.
We all know that's going to come. That's part. Is if the agency of Trent Alexander would say, by the way, let's test the water to see where Liverpool are at.
Which depends whether he wants to move.
If
he's a homeboy, and it seems a very good lad like me. I met him briefly on a plane coming back from Dubai once, and we just had a quick chat like him. And I think that he's homegrown, and if the Liverpool fans are, attached to him and that, like you mean, and like can they get better? Because if they let him go, like they're going to have to spend 30, 40, 50 million to replace him.
And I think as well as,
you know what I mean?
It's different for Salah and Van Dijk. They've not come through the academy, and as I say, but Trent will be saying, well, I'm one of the best right backs in the world. I want paid what everybody else is getting paid. That is only natural. But when you come through the clubs and you're a youth team, you never get paid the same as what the top players are playing. Right. That's just
not bad in midfield either. Contrary to all the rubbish he got with the press with England. I mean, he played a lot in midfield for Liverpool with Jurgen, and they were.
He's a special talent. Really, there's nobody like. I mean,
his passing is just.
He's up there. He's on the level of your Steven Gerrards in terms of the way he passes the ball and that. So again, a lot of negotiation, a lot of things happen in what you want within a negotiation. But I do think that Jude's way of thinking in Madrid, his friendship with him, there's obviously conversations, and I think the lifestyle is something that he might like as well.
Can you as well? He's got everything with Liverpool.
There is no life at Real Madrid, man.
Oh,
you get tucked away and you never come out. I'm telling you.
But again, it's
that's Bex and all them.
But it's the
scary
prestige,
man.
It's the prestige of playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah,
it's an opportunity, and like you say, turning down Real Madrid is going to be very, very tough for whoever it is. Michael Owen done it, Beckham done it.
Steven Gerrard didn't go anywhere, did he? If he wanted to go, he could have ended up at Real Madrid.
Yeah, gone wherever he wanted.
You know what I mean? So, but he didn't. So,
but that's it's the mentality of the player, the person.
And it's only my opinion, which is we all give in football. I think Liverpool are all striving almost very, very close to winning the Premier League, even at this early stage. You can't say never.
Yeah.
No.
But, other people are trying to make up and slipping up. You know what I mean? So when Liverpool slip up, the others don't take or haven't taken advantage of it at the moment. You know what I mean? And I think if Liverpool lose Salah, Van Dijk and Trent, they won't win the league next year.
For me, I think Trent will be the one. I think Trent will leave in the summer.
For free.
But he gave everything to the football club.
Yeah.
He's won everything. He has to make a decision for his footballing career, what he thinks is best. It doesn't look great in terms of leaving on a free, but they got him for free.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing you've got is that, what Cara was saying, was talking about the bid coming in. Try and leave it to the summer. If you're going to leave, come out and say, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But every action he does that's wrong, it's because he's not, like Andy Slot said, it's because he's not signing his contract. His head's everywhere else. And nobody else talks about it.
Have they offered him a contract?
I think that, I don't know, we don't know. We're always presuming.
How old is he? He's not
26, 27.
26?
Yeah,
Well, that's a 3-4 year, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think, again, it'll be he maybe wants the captaincy. He wants to be the highest paid player. That is part of negotiations. Not everything is straightforward.
Mo Salah's the highest paid player.
Yeah, but he will be Mo Salah. But Trent will be saying, well, okay, I want that. I'm on a free. You're not having to pay that. So I want what everybody else is getting. And that's just normal. That's part of it.
It is. Right, I've got something else I want to talk about before we go on to questions. We've had loads of questions for you. Because I asked you before we came on, before we started filming, because I found it really interesting, both of your opinions. Last night, so we're filming this on a Wednesday, it was the Newcastle-Arsenal match. Newcastle beat Arsenal 2-0 in the semi-final of the League Cup. And then Mikel Arteta said something after the game about the difference in the ball in the League Cup and the Premier League. Now, I didn't really understand, so I want you two, please, to explain to everybody what is the difference in a ball in the League Cup and in the Premier League, and why? What is the difference, and why does it make a difference?
Well, you get the opportunity to train with them first, but I think they only send you about 6.
Right.
It's not as if Arsenal can't afford a few more if they have to buy them, though, can it? Like you mean, but you train with them balls for the week. Well, it would be less than a week. It'd be a day, wouldn't it? 2.
Yeah, day.
Yeah, because you only got, which is not, if you want one day, it's not really that much. But what's it going to affect? Well, everybody gets a ball and then just in training, even though it's not an intense training session, just kicks a few balls just to get the feel. It's not.
Why is the ball different?
Because it's Puma and Nike.
It'll be a weight. Could be a weight thing. It'll fly through the air differently. It might be lighter than the one that they're used to playing with. You know what I mean? I think it can't be too light because everybody, the time they tried that, becomes like it becomes an absolute. You can't score a goal for free kick. I remember them slipped up in the World Cup many years ago with an Adidas ball. It was that light. It was like a ping pong ball. Yeah. Nobody could even hit the target. So they slipped up, like people messing about with what doesn't need to be messed about with. But obviously, they do it for sales, don't they? How many can they sell? Like, what design can they have? We had this bullshit about bringing a ball in autumn that had a different colour to help with the surrounding areas, and instead of a white one. Talk about sales pitch to get more people to buy another ball, like buy 4 pair of boots a year.
I do like a World Cup ball, though. Sam. I do.
But I think
the ball is made differently by a different company, which will have a different way of flying, different way of moving.
Right.
And you train with it, and it's not. I don't think I didn't actually see it, but listening to the radio this morning, I don't think he made a big thing out of it. It's just been made a big thing by the press as normal.
Yeah, because it's nothing new, Charlie, is it?
No, it's something, again.
Always happens.
So if you look at Arsenal, they'll have a Champions League ball they've used.
Yeah.
They've got Premier League, Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. 4 different balls are used during the season. They're all different manufacturers.
A load of balls this game, isn't it?
Basically, Sam.
But it's 4 different manufacturers for the season. So again, I think the story's probably been made more than what it actually is. I think he's been asked the question. He said it's 2 different balls that we use. We've trained one day, and then all of a sudden there's a big story.
What a victory!
By the way, it's
why are we
unbelievable.
having a headline about the ball when Newcastle have just beaten Arsenal at Arsenal 2-0, and who have a very similar Christmas and New Year to Nottingham Forest?
Oh, Newcastle
Undefeated,
are in.
And again, talking about it, I
Right.
think he's the one at the moment. Eddie's job in terms of going in with the pressure of Newcastle, I think he's done an unbelievable job.
But I mean, it helps when you've got a player like Isaac up front. Like,
Well, they need to tie him to another 5-year contract.
They really do, because everybody
tomorrow.
can do with him.
Because if he decides that he wants to see, I don't know how long he's got left, but I don't think you can let a player go into the last 2 years of his contract.
We've got loads of questions that have come in for you.
Oh.
Seemingly, we have quite a lot of Stoke fans
on,
that listen to the podcast. Hello, Stoke fans. Okay, first of all, Eamon wants to ask, how did you feel joining Liverpool being signed by Kenny? Friend of the show.
Yeah, it was. There's a story to it, really, in terms of signing Kenny. I'd obviously, when I signed, I wasn't driving her, so I never had a licence. And my missus was Trafford Centre or something like that. And so I'm at home at this time, and I knew the deal was sort of happening, but I never knew when the deal was actually going to get concluded and the medical was going to be. So I was at home just waiting for it to happen. I got a call from my agent saying, everything's agreed, ready to go, you can have a medical. So I'm sat at home, no driving, I'm thinking, how am I going to get to Liverpool here? So I phones my mate up, right? And he's a bricklayer. And this is honestly a true story. So he's working on a building site. I said, where are you? Oh, I'm just building this, blah, blah. I says, can you take me to Liverpool? He says, yeah, no problem. What's it for? I've agreed the deal, going to go and do medical. Amazing, brilliant. All right, okay. Only thing is, mate, I'm in my van in no my car. I went, that's all right. So he comes up, picks me up in his white van, drives to the training ground, the academy at Liverpool, in his white van, drops me off. Here's Kenny sat in his Merc. So I get to, Kenny comes out, meets and greets me, shows me around the academy, and then I go and do this medical. But yeah, my mate dropped me off in his white van.
Did Kenny say anything? Was he like, lad?
No, he didn't even. No, just like
a new deal, a car.
No, nothing. He was just like, didn't know what was happening. So he just got in, chauffeuring me around. Kenny was chauffeuring me around. But there was obviously a story with that was, but 3 or 4 months before it, in the January window, before that, I went to Kenny's house to meet him.
Yeah.
And Maria was away in Spain, I think, in the house or something like that. And he was at home on his own. So it was like April time because the Masters was on. So I goes in Kenny's house with my agent and speaking to him and talking to him. And he's like, cup of tea? He went, yeah, right, flick the kettle on. So I'm flicked the kettle on Kenny's house and he's making the tea. I'm not too sure if the milk's out because Maria's been on holiday, so we'll need to
In other words, Kenny don't know how to make the tea, is
exactly,
that
yeah. But again, just an unbelievable, and Sam will know him really well, an unbelievable guy. Know him,
brilliant,
really humble for what he's achieved and as a person.
Yeah.
Never ever stopped to say.
Mickey Taker,
never stopped to say hello.
Yeah.
Always really welcome him. A great guy.
We've had him on. We know. Okay, Sam, not this Sam, another Sam has asked, what is your best Ian Holloway story from your time together at Blackpool?
Where do I want to start? a story that everybody will know is that we were playing Derby on Boxing Day. So we never trained Christmas Day. We had to meet at the hotel in Derby. And we get to the hotel, so we're having pre-match, and he said, lads, no meeting today, just go in that room, and if your name's underneath a teddy bear, you're playing. so we all goes in the room. So you see 7 or 8 lads like, I'm not playing. So here it's set up, 4-3-3, information.
With teddies?
With teddy bears. So he's obviously, Kim has put his wife, she's went and bought like 11 teddy bears, put them in a formation, and obviously my name was there, Charlie, pick your teddy up. And that was it. So that's how we.
What did your teddy look like?
I don't know what it was.
It wasn't one that resembled you.
No, hopefully no. It looked like Shrek. But so that's how we done the team talk, and that was it. And we went and won.
Okay, we've had stories on this pod, but never anyone
using expectation. Do something different.
And management, just unbelievable.
Do something different.
Okay, so my friend Robin, who is a Stoke fan, who always asks questions whenever we have a Stoke-related person on, messaged me because he wants to know. And to be honest, I didn't Google it because I just wanted to see your reaction and just see what the answer was. And his simple question was, why did Stoke get relegated in 2018?
He'll probably be presuming that because I missed the penalty. Is that why?
I don't know.
That's not the reason why.
No, I missed the penalty against Brighton. Obviously, I took responsibility for that.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of things going on. Like you say, we had Mark had lost his job in terms of we'd finished top 10 for the 4 years. We got beat from Coventry, and again we were meant to fly to Dubai that night because FA Cup after the third round there was a bit of a break in terms.
Yeah.
So Mark always used to take us to Dubai for winter weather treatment. Brilliant. So
he learned that off me.
Yeah. So we get 5 days in Dubai, and we'd fly at night. We'd have a few beers and that, and the lads would have a good game of golf, and it was just brilliant. The lads loved it, and we were back into the season. We were obviously flying because we did that holiday.
Yeah.
We got beat from Coventry in the FA Cup, and they cancelled it, and he got sacked on the way home, and then we changed managers and. Within the dressing room again, we talk about characters, and it was a tough period for the club. And unfortunately, we ended up getting relegated, which is a shame because Stoke for me is an unbelievable football club. Great people, the owners. It's a shame where it's at the moment, but what I do think is they've got the right manager now. I like Matt Robbins. Thank God he's got picked up at the Championship as well. And he's done a brilliant job at Coventry for all the years. Vastly experienced, and I think he could take Stoke. Really kick them on again.
We know you think he's underrated. You've talked about it in the past.
Oh, what he did for Coventry, and how he managed the difficulties Coventry had for that many years, and not get a Premier League job. You can't get any better than what he did and what he achieved and how close he became to not to be considered for the Premier League.
Yeah.
And he top. If you talk about playing career, he top experience in the Prem. As a Premier League player with Man United and that, so but obviously just not fashionable.
Mm-hmm. Great,
you know what I mean.
So I'm
told you change your name, who knows how far I'd have got if I was Allardyce. Let's keep telling that. You never know, do you?
Right, a couple more questions that have come in for you, Craig. What was it like playing under Walter Smith? And he says, why did you shoot from the half line every week?
Shoot from the halfway line?
Yeah,
because I was capable of it. Walter. Wow.
Did you score a goal from the halfway line then?
Yeah.
Where?
Chelsea.
Oh.
Courtois was in goals. Mourinho was the manager. Mourinho.
Oh yeah.
Mourinho's pulled me after the game. So I'm walking up down the tunnel to do the press. So obviously I'd scored that goal.
Yeah.
And Mourinho pulls me and said, "Do you know what? Ronaldo and Messi would love to have scored that goal." That's what he said to me. And Jose was like, they couldn't have done that. And I was like, wow, because I was like Jose.
Yeah.
I was like, but. Yeah, scored from 67 yards it was. I once called a horse 67 yards.
Wow.
Was
it a winner?
Hopeless. but what I'd say is that, that was the reason why. And going back to Walter Smith, Sam will know really well. A guy that could walk in a room and change the whole complex of it.
Top man.
And I'm, by the way, top players. I'm talking about like Scotland.
Yeah.
I was Ranger and I was a kid. And one story about Walter was that we went to LA for a end of season game, and we'd all had a few drinks, and we played LA Galaxy, and I thought it was I was young, and I thought, oh, we'll just have a few drinks, enjoy it, and I thought the game, it's only a friendly, and blah blah. So I played 45 minutes, and he come in at half time, and I'd never seen any manager like it. Ripped the tactics board down, went through me like God knows what. You will never play for this club again. And I was like, it's only a friendly. There is no friendlies at this football club. Don't you ever disrespect this football club, thinking you could swan round. He went through me and I was like that. Honestly, I just went white, like I was gone. He lost it. And it was like, you embarrass yourself, you embarrass this football club playing like that. Don't think that. You ever learn, you've got to learn from this. But an absolute gentleman, Amazing guy. Yeah. But just set me a tone of terms of a young player thinking, you think you can do what you want to do? Absolutely no chance. And that's what we do. We're at a big club. You have to be at it every day. No matter if it's a friendly or a Champions League match, we need to win. And that was the way he thought. It was brilliant.
We were together in Australia on the tournament. I was at Blackburn and he was at Rangers.
Archie.
And he came with McCoist, Durant and himself. And then I got my mob, like you mean. We used to meet up and find a nice restaurant and Obviously, pre-season, like I mean. So I'd known him before. Obviously, I knew McCoist because I played with McCoist at Sunderland. I didn't know Ian Durant, but I mean, it was just those nights.
Yeah.
I remember for a long time. Like I mean, the camaraderie we had between each other because it was football related and it was pre-season. It was just a great trip. Like I mean, because it can be a bit of a mind like when you go all the way to Australia playing a tournament. Like you mean. So it was a great experience. Obviously, I'd known him a bit at Everton, and then obviously a bit with Fergie and that. Like I mean, but you know, seeing him there, and the three of them were. I think they could have been.
Was that a comedy
Could have
central?
been a comedy central.
Yeah, I bet.
I was going to say that. I was searching for that.
But brilliant.
Honest to God.
Durant and McCoist together.
Yeah.
And he was just like, but if he said anything, McCoist and Durant were like that. The respect they had for him was incredible. And even like for myself, just as a young player, being able to experience that I was lucky enough. Keep going on, but I went back to Rangers to watch a European game against Tottenham a couple of weeks ago. And his wife was in the boardroom, and I was speaking to her and that, and she just like remembering, just talking about the old stories when I was a kid growing up. She's like, I remember when you were that height starting out and all that, and just her enjoyment of what Walter meant to a lot of people was still incredible.
Yeah.
And you know, you obviously got a statue in that now, but like obviously probably one of the greatest managers the Rangers ever had. You know.
Right, I've got 3 questions left. This next one has been going viral on social media.
Who was it?
Right. Don't think too much about it. Give me your first answer. How many holes does a straw have?
1.
Yeah, I would have went for 1 as well.
Okay. I saw a video where the Premier League asked a load of Premier League footballers, and the thinking, it's 1, isn't it? It's just 1 continuous hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people will say
it's
2
ends.
One at each end.
Yeah.
But it's 1 continuous hole, so it's 1.
There you go. Premier League footballers, there's your answer.
There's a hole in 1 for you.
Yes. Right, I've got 2 questions left for you. For this one, we'd like you to choose 1 attribute from each of the following managers that you've had. So give us the first attribute that comes to your mind.
Quick fire this.
Quick fire, yes. Genuine quick fire. And we've had 4 of the 5 of these on the podcast. We just need Brendan Rodgers to come on at some point. We'll start there. Brendan Rodgers.
Articulate.
Okay. Tony Pulis.
Driven.
Ian Holloway.
Madman.
Yes, we like that.
He'll like that himself.
He'll like that, yeah. Kenny.
Aura.
Nah, I love that word. Mark Hughes.
Calm.
Oh, that's a combination.
Very good, isn't it, by the way? They're fantastic answers, by the way.
Aura.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
calm's like, Mark was always calm in that and just, but could explode. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see that. Okay, the last question for you today. So there was a picture of you that went viral, I think it was a few years ago. I don't know if you've ever seen this picture, Sam, but you innocently, just at home watching the Masters, you pop up a picture of you on social media in your full golf gear watching the Masters. What did you think when that picture went viral?
I thought it was for a bit of fun. So what happened was the Masters was on and I was sat in my cinema room, not plugging it, but...
Cinema room.
Somebody took a picture of me and sat in there and I just put it in just for a bit.
Who was it? You have your friends in or something?
Yeah, my mates were round in that. So I just dressed up for the Masters.
Don't want the missus then?
No, full white Nike outfit with a golf on and that. But I've actually got a picture of people. I don't think I've shared it, but I was actually like, before it, I took a picture of myself with my golf clubs outside my front door. And actually, my golf clubs were in the cinema room at the same time, but that wasn't in the picture yet. But just for a bit of banter, I just dressed up, because it was the Masters, I just dressed up.
So you hadn't been playing golf that day?
No, I hadn't been playing golf. I just dressed up for a bit of banter, and somebody took a picture and I put it on social media and it went viral.
It still makes me laugh now when I see it, Sam. If you've not seen it, you have to see it. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks to you, Alan.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll be talking in the next few weeks about your next job.
Yeah. Maybe you come and watch sometime as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll take the pod on the road. We'd love that.
Yeah, pod on the road.
Yes.
There's a good saying, isn't it?
Oh, go and see all of
Pod on the road next time round. Let's think about
we should
that.
take the pod on the road to every one of the people who've got a job that have been on the podcast. Yeah. Okay, there's ideas.
We'll have to speak to our production manager about that.
Have we got a a production manager?
Well, I think so. Yes.
Okay, very nice.
If we haven't, we'll appoint one.
Yeah, who wants the job? Thank you for joining us on another episode. If you don't, please do subscribe. As a podcast on YouTube, we're on every social media platform going. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week.